Hey, how's it going? It's Osama. I wanted to record a little video about something a lot of people ask me, which is what should our biggest focus be with a puppy? A lot of people tend to kind of believe that starting with obedience commands and things like that is the way to go. The way I like to do things is I focus on four main concepts, which is focus, engagement, drive, and confidence. In this video, I'm going to kind of break each one of them down and explain what I mean by each one of them, how to start building each one of them. And then throughout the next few videos, I'm gonna break down each concept and explain how to work on it and how to develop it. So starting out, I'm just gonna be kind of walking around the course with Tommy here. Up. So when we talk about focus and engagement especially, it's very easy to confuse the two concepts, and they're quite different, but they do mesh at a certain point in time. So wait. So when I have focus, this is the dog's ability to isolate everything else in their environment and bring their attention to me. This is something important because for a puppy, pretty much everything in their environment is something interesting. So being able to teach your dog to pay attention to you is also starting to teach them to ignore and be neutral to things in their environment. So when we're talking about building impulse control and teaching your dog to be able to bring their attention to you, we're trying to build the focus of this puppy so that they're able to kind of develop with a good sense of impulse control. When we talk about engagement, this is where we're talking about the dog's desire to continue interacting with you. So if you think you're holding a piece of food, for example. So if I'm gonna give Tommy a piece of food and I want him to sit or lay down for it. Once he sits and I pay him, what happens? So if this dog's attention completely goes away from me, I don't necessarily have this dog's engagement. I have his focus because he's waiting to earn something, and then once he's earned it, he doesn't have a good understanding of continuing this interaction in order to earn more good things or more reward or more fun. So building engagement with your dog is getting to the point where they understand a sequence of interactions and they continue to want to interact with you even when there's no necessarily like a reward present or something like that. So it's important to recognize I can, for example, do agility with a dog, and this is going to teach this dog to be engaged with me and not necessarily focus on me. They're focused on something else, but they're engaged with me. Or if I throw a ball for a dog, they're going to be focused on me while they do something that will earn them that ball. And then once I throw the ball, even though their focus has moved away, I still have that dog's engagement. If I don't, that's where you see dogs running off. You're gonna fall off, buddy. That's where you see dogs catching the ball and maybe running off or just chewing on it or something like that. So working on building that engagement with your puppy is what leads to being able to interact with them for a longer period of time and having your dog understand that interacting with you is rewarding. Then we move into what's called drive. Drive can come out, let's walk, in a lot of different areas. Come on, bud, up. Up. Easy. Good boy. Drive is when we start talking about there's food drive and play drive and toy drive. Up. Good boy. Wait. So when we start talking about drive, if you're talking about food drive, for example, it's important to know how to build it and also how you might be tearing it down. So for example, feeding your puppy from a bowl all the time is going to lower that food drive because the value of that food starts to go down. So when we're building food drive, our main focus is creating value in that reward based on effort, not necessarily based on results. So a lot of times, easy, good boy. A lot of times we kind of get caught up in trying to teach sit and down and roll over and things like that. Good boy. And we forget to be paying these puppies for their effort and not necessarily their results. So Tommy's pretty good with this course already. If I had a puppy out here, I wouldn't be judging him based on his ability to actually complete these. I would be paying him and rewarding him based on his ability to show me that he's trying. Being too stingy, if you want to call it, with your rewards early on can lower that dog's drive. So it's very important to recognize, especially with Tug, that's kind of where we see it the most often, is your puppy has to win. They have to win over and over and over, but you just have to be selective with when they win so you can encourage them to continue giving full effort. So as soon as they get that toy, when we're playing, it's a nice, calm, gentle, creating an understanding. And then once that puppy shows me maximum effort, I let go. I let them win. And that builds their drive to work harder. Instead of, for example, presenting the toys and trying to kind of shove it into the dog's mouth, I want to snatch them away. I want to tap into that prey drive to get them following different things. If I want them to start recalling, maybe I start moving away from the dog to tap into their drive so they want to chase me. So building all of these little things leads into a dog that you're able to work with a lot more comfortably, and they're a lot more interested in a lot of different stuff. So you kind of killing that drive early on, thinking that you're creating a calm dog, tends to lead to just kind of a dull dog, which means that dog's not really interested in chasing toys or fetching things, or not really interested in working for food or working hard for really anything. So it's important to keep in mind early on, your primary goal whenever you're working with food or toys or anything like that is you should isolate the moment where your dog shows effort and make sure that you reward in that moment. And then my last point is going to be building confidence. And this is going to be the biggest thing for probably the first year of the dog's life. Let's walk. So whenever I'm building confidence, I have to be mindful that good repetitions and success in whatever I'm trying to do, easy, is going to build up to a point where that starts to carry over into different things. So a lot of times, for example, you notice that a dog is nervous around something, easy, and you get so hyper focused on getting them over that thing that you don't necessarily realize you can build their confidence towards that thing by getting them comfortable doing other things. And that's kind of a mouthful, but really what I'm saying is, for example, if I have a dog who's nervous to come up on this board, I don't have to get them on this board to get them more likely to be able to come on this board. And it's really important to understand your socialization for early on, especially in those early few months of puppyhood. It's not all meeting people and meeting dogs, it's building neutrality to everything. So when we're building confidence in a puppy, what we're really talking about is I want this dog to be presented with so many different stimuli and so many different things, and then I want them to be neutral to these things, not necessarily too interested and not necessarily fearful. So if I'm building confidence around water, I want my water exposure to be at a point where this dog can be okay doing this in the future. And I want to just make note of where they're at and build them up gradually. Easy, buddy. Good boy. Tommy. Down. Good boy. I want them to get to a point where they're comfortable doing all kinds of different things, and I'm not necessarily building up based on their weak points, I'm building up based on their strong points. So when I recognize that there's something this dog's pretty good at, I want to push there and build them up there, and then let that, no, down. I want to let that seep into other things that we're trying to do. So if that means, for example, they're not comfortable again on this walking board and they're comfortable going on the tires, I'm going to do the tires over and over and over and over again until I get some of that confidence, and then I'll carry it back over into something that they weren't so confident with. I'm going to let this guy run around a little bit. Free. So kind of going back through all 4 points, we have focus, engagement, drive, and confidence. With focus, we have building the dog's ability to pay attention to you. With engagement, we have the dog's desire to continue interacting with you. With drive, we have building the dog's desire to get something, whether it's food or a toy, or to chase something or whatever it is. And with confidence, we have building that dog up to be neutral to whatever our environment can present to that dog, whether it be other dogs, other animals, obstacles, weather, or anything of the sort. So think, for example, a rainy day, that can change a lot in terms of how your dog views the world. So building their confidence when it's nice and dry and cool is not the same necessarily as working them when it's snowing outside or it's raining outside or something like that. So in the following videos, we'll break down each point. We'll have a couple videos about how to build up each one of these things with your dog. And if you focus on these things, you'll already be on a pretty good start to raising a pretty happy, healthy, stable, and calm puppy. All right, have a good one.